Okay, today we're talking about geometry. And there's the bell work right there. Let's take a look here. So on this one right here, I want you to graph that point, and I'm going to do it with graphing because I don't have my rules memorized, and I want you to memorize your rules. So let's take a look here and see what's going on. So if I graph this, I go over first, because that's what you were taught, and then up, 1, 2, 3. Put a dot right there. Put a dot on the origin, and then take something, a straight edge, and then square it off. Go through this point like that, and then make an X 90 degrees. So we want to square this off 90 degrees. Line it up with that right there. So your line should look something like this. Okay, so we should have an X. Now take a look at how I do this. This one says 90 degrees clockwise. Well, clockwise would throw this point over here. Okay, so let's figure out. So we're going to call this one number 1, and the point should be about right here. Okay. Now, let's figure out what that is. So this point is -2 and 3, and this point looks like here, we're going to go over 3 and then up 2. That's what I think it is. So I think you have to change the X and switch. So if you change that X, it becomes a positive. So number 1 should be a 3 and a +2. So over 3 and then up 2 looks like my answer. Okay? So for this one, I would say the rule is change X and switch. Now that's with me not even knowing my rules, okay? So I came up with the rule. And that's how you can do it. This one says 270 counterclockwise. Well, you're starting at this point right here. This is the beginning point. And you want to go 270 in a rotation counterclockwise. So you want to go 90, and then another 90, and then another 90. And you're going to be right there at the same point. So to go 270 counterclockwise, it's going to be the same rule. It's going to be change the X and switch. And I did that without even knowing my rules. So number 2, which is also going to be here, is going to be the same thing. There it is. Now 180, let's take a look at that. So if you start here, this is the starting point, and you're going to go 180 either way. Doesn't matter which way you go. So if I go 180, that's 90 and 90 more. So my number 3 would be right here. So let's see how I would get there. It looks like I'm going over 2 and then down 3. So my original point was -2 and 3. And so my new point here, the number 3, I'm going to say is +2, but down 3. So what did I do with the original? It looks like I changed. I didn't switch it. So for this rule, you just change X and Y. You don't switch. There it is. So I did all the rules of reflection using this right here. So now I want you to try one. Okay, so on a new sheet of paper, I want you to do it with the X, the way I just taught you, okay? Now this is something new here that I've never used before, but it's real simple. Okay, so right now, what I want you to do is put over 3, down 2, use that point, we'll call that A. That's the starting point. Okay, so I want you to graph it right now. And then I want you to draw an X. Okay, and then I want you to go number 3. After you graph it and draw the X, I want you to go 90 degrees. I want you to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. I want you to rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise. and then I want you to rotate it 270 degrees clockwise. Okay, do that right now, just like I did on the board, or did earlier. So let's take a look here. What I would do on this one is graph it. So draw your graph, go over 3, and then down 2. This is your starting point. So I'm going to use a different color here. Now, put a point at the origin and draw an X. So get a straight edge or something and draw an X. I'm showing you a clever way to do this, okay? And then draw another X, but you got to square this off. So it's got to be 90 degrees. So continue that line over here. Now that's not a perfect X, but it's close enough. Looks like my ink pen's running out. Let's take another one. All right, so here we go. Watch and listen. Graph that point, we already did. So label it 3 and down 2. The first one says 90 degrees clockwise. Clockwise would go like this, and you try to make it into a circle. So that would be the point right there. So it looks like on this one right here, it looks like you go on a negative, and then you're going down a negative. Okay? So in this case, let's think about what it would be. Now without using graph paper, it's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like a -2. All right, so this one you're going to change that and switch. So this point A right here, okay, A looks like it's going to be -2, so you're going to switch these and change the X. That's the rule. And that looks like 3. All right, anyway, without graph paper, it's a little hard. But anyway, it's going to be -2 for sure, and then down 3. All right, I think I got that one. Now, let's go to the next one. 90 degrees counterclockwise. So start back at the original and go 90 degrees counterclockwise, which is backwards. It should be about right here. Okay? Now let's think about that one. Now this one right here, it looks like it really should be about right here, because I missed that little area right there. So I think you got to be pretty precise. So this one looks like over 2 up 3, and that would be B. Okay, so over 2 up 3. So what did they do? Well, the originals here, they went over 2. Here they changed the Y and switched. Okay, so this rule is change Y and switch. Now you can memorize the rules and you don't have to hack through it, but I'm hacking through it. So 270 counterclockwise would start here at the original and go 90, 180, 270 would be back there, and it's going to be the same rule. So you're going to change the Y and switch. And that's it, and that's how you do that. In case you forget the rules, you really don't need them, especially if you have graph paper. All right, put that away. On a new sheet of paper, I guess you can use the same one you have. Copy all of this down. This is more EOC review. I started to call it bell work, but this is all new stuff to you. So look up here and listen. You can name a plane 2 ways. You can name it by that fancy P with no point. So you can say plane P, or you can name it with 3 non-collinear points. You could say plane ABC. It's got to be non-collinear, crooked. Name coplanar points. Coplanar points are on this sheet of paper. This is called a plane right here, flat surface. So you would say point A, B, and C. So points A, B, and C are called coplanar. Collinear, you can't use D because D is not on that page. Okay, so it's non-coplanar. There are no collinear points. In a straight line, well, I guess you could say A and C. I guess we could say that. Name a line. You could say line AB, and that works. Name an angle. You could say angle BAC. Okay, name opposite raised. You had this one yesterday, starting with point C. So you would say ray CD, and you would say ray CA or CB, and ray CA. And you're done. Get rid of one of these arrows. And there we have it. Make sure you go back over this video. All right, today you're going to finish that worksheet from yesterday. So yesterday I gave you this worksheet, so if you were absent, you're going to finish this worksheet. I think we did 1 and 2, so you need to do the rest. Okay? All right, that's it for today for the geometry. Let's turn our attention now to MCR. So if you look at MCR, let's take a look at this. What we're going to do is use substitution. Now here you're going to go after this one, you're going to move the x over here. So you're going to get y equals x plus 3. You're going to substitute that in place of the y. You're going to distribute, so you get negative 3x plus 3x plus 9 is equal to 4. These cancel. 9 is not equal to 4, so the lines are parallel and there's no solution. Now we're going to prove that. So put away your bell work, copy this one down again, and this is what you're going to be doing today. So look up here. We're going to graph both of these on the same graph. And here's how I want you to do it. Okay? So I want you to take a piece of graph paper. I'll give you the graph paper. Okay, so what you're going to do is put your name, date, and period, and then we're going to graph all of these. Okay, so you're going to put number 1, and you're going to solve for y. So this one right here, you're going to draw a line, circle the y, you're going to move this over here. So you're going to get 3x, or 3y rather, is equal to 3x plus 4, and then you're going to divide by 3. So you're going to get y equals x plus 1 1/3, which is what 4 over 3 is. Okay? Now watch. On the next one, we'll call this one A. On the next one, y is equal to, when you move this over, x plus 3. Now, here's how I want you to do it. I want you to go ahead and make a graph on here and put number 1. So number 1, anywhere you can start, and I wouldn't go too big because then you're not going to have room for your other ones. Okay? So there's my graph. Now, this one right here, the slope is 1 over 1. The y-intercept is up 1 1/3. So this is 1 and that's 2. So 1 1/3, that means you got to break this up into 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3, and you keep it there. So that's 1 1/3 right there. From there, you're going to go up 1 and over 1. Rise, over run, and the new point's going to be right there, and then you're going to combine these together and make a graph like this. And I want you to use some kind of straight edge to make it look good. The next one, the y-intercept is 3. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3 on the same graph. The slope is 1 over 1, so up 1 over 1. And you can see that these lines are in fact parallel. Therefore, there is no solution. So this is what you're doing today. That's number 1. And then you would go over here and you'd make another graph using a straight edge. And then you would put another one here, and another one here, and then another one down here. And that's how I want you to do the work, and then flip it over. So you have 10 of them from yesterday. So I want you to do this one, which we already did. Well, we didn't do that one. So do all of these on that graph paper, and that's your work for today. Have a good day. I'll see you in class.